The killers struck without mercy, leaving Cardassian blood splattered across the pristine walls of their glittering megacorp. For too long, the affluent aliens had ground humanity under their heel, stripping away rights and resources until the oppressed masses of Earth cried out for justice. That justice had a name: the Killers, an elite human special forces unit operating in secret at the fringes of civilized space. Battle-hardened veteran Samuel Evans led the Killers on their most crucial mission yet, infiltrating a powerful Cardassian corporation to destroy a devastating new weapon before it could be unleashed on the helpless populations of Earth. Failure meant the extermination of millions. Evans and his team slipped into Cardassian society under false identities, but gathering intel on the megacorp's inner workings proved more challenging than anticipated. The haughty alien culture looked down on humans as inferior, unworthy of mingling in their opulent circles. Leads dried up and time grew short. Then came a breakthrough in the unlikely form of Uko, a rebellious Cardassian hacker with his own designs on taking down the corrupt company. Though distrustful of each other, Evans and Uko soon uncovered the horrifying truth. The corporation's weapon targeted Earth's underprivileged with merciless precision. Selective genocide calculated to quell humanity's resistance for generations to come. Now the clock was ticking. The killers raced to breach the megacorp's heavy security and dismantle the weapon before it was too late. Fighting their way through enemy forces, Evans pushed his team to their limits and beyond. But disaster struck when a traitor sold them out to Cardassian authorities. Branded as fugitives on an alien world, the killers were forced to scatter and go to ground. Evans, however, would not be deterred. Even alone, abandoned, he would see this mission through to its end, no matter the cost. As the net tightened around them, Evans began to wonder if this was a foe too great for even humans to overcome. Pinned down by enemy fire, his team lost, the relentless march of Cardassian jackboots drawing ever closer. He'd soon find out. For only human courage now stood between oppression and freedom, between annihilation and survival, between the corporate might of aliens and the dauntless spirit of man. The staccato burst of gunfire echoed through the grimy alleyways as Evans ducked behind a battered cargo crate, his heart pounding against his ribs. Cardassian jackboots thundered closer, the acrid stench of smoldering plasma lingering in the recycled air. This was it, the end of the line. Except it wasn't. The telltale whine of a concussion grenade detonating rent the air, followed by the anguished screams of alien soldiers. Evans risked a glance over the crate to see a familiar figure emerging from the smoke and chaos. A grim smile etched onto his scarred face. "Looks like you could use a hand, boss," Marcus Reeves quipped, hefting his plasma rifle. Evans allowed himself a rare chuckle as he stepped out to clasp his friend's arm. "I had him right where I wanted him." The brief moment of levity faded as quickly as it had come. The battered remnants of the killers gathered in their bolt hole deep within the twisting warrens of the alien slums, the weight of their dwindling options pressing down like a vice. Ammo was low, morale even lower. They needed a miracle. Uko, the renegade Cardassian hacker, provided one. "The weapon, it's not finished," she explained, her elegant features pinched with worry. "A final shipment of critical components is en route. Destroy it. And we buy Earth time," Evans finished, the gears already turning in his mind. "Zero, I need a location on that convoy." Lincoln Campbell, hunched over a makeshift workstation cobbled together from stolen alien tech, cracked his knuckles. "Give me 10 minutes. While Zero worked his digital magic, Evans turned to the team's infiltration specialist. "Ghost, you're up. We need eyes on the inside." Olivia Sado, her lithe form already shimmering with the active camouflage of her Wraith-Mech 2 stealth suit, flashed a predatory grin. "They'll never see me coming." The beginnings of an audacious plan took shape, a bold strategy to sabotage the Cardassians' convoy with the killers' unique blend of high-tech wizardry and old-school gunsmoke. But even as they prepared to strike, a ghost from the past resurfaced to haunt them. Evans' comlink crackled with an urgent transmission from Earth, each word stoking the embers of a long-buried rage. The Cardassians had begun a brutal crackdown on the human resistance back home, rounding up thousands into nightmarish internment camps. Among the captured was his own flesh and blood, a sister he'd long thought lost to the winds of war. In that moment, the hardened facade Evans had cultivated for so long cracked, exposing the wounded child within. Reeves, his oldest friend, clasped a steady hand on his shoulder. "This isn't just about your family anymore," Reeves said quietly. "It's about all of us, about the dream of a free Earth. We need you to be more than your pain." Evans, his mind focused with newfound determination, made the call. They would carry out their original mission to destroy the convoy, buying time for a shot at something far greater, a double-pronged assault to cripple the alien leadership and liberate the human prisoners in one fell swoop, the spark of revolution. What followed was a ballet of fire and blood, the killers unleashing every iota of their skill and fury. Zero's hacking magic wove a tapestry of chaos, sending the convoy's automated defenses haywire. Ghost danced unseen through the carnage, a flurry of monomolecular blades and whisper-silent takedowns. And at the tip of the spear was Evans himself, a one-man army driven by the unyielding spirit of humanity itself. In the end, they stood victorious atop the smoking ruin of the shattered prison, the resistance flag raised high. But triumph came at a cost too dear to contemplate. Ghost, Evans' most trusted confidant, had fallen to the aliens' guns, sacrificing herself so the prisoners could escape. Her final words, a tortured whisper over the static of a failing comlink, tore open his armored shell. She spoke of hidden love, of promises left tragically unfulfilled, and still she begged him to never stop fighting, to be the beacon of hope humanity so desperately needed. The road ahead would be paved with blood and doubt, but here amidst the ashes of bittersweet victory, Samuel Evans found a renewed sense of purpose. He would rally the resistance, mold them into a force even the haughty Cardassians would come to fear, and he would see humanity's oppressors brought to their knees, or die trying. The battle was just getting started. It had only just begun. The acrid smoke of victory still clung to Evans' nostrils as he surveyed the ragtag group of resistance fighters huddled in the bombed-out remains of the prison. Their eyes gleamed with a newfound spark of hope, tempered by the weight of loss. Ghost's absence left a palpable void. "We've bloodied their nose," Reeves growled, his face etched with grim satisfaction. "Now it's time to go for the throat." Evans nodded, his mind already racing. "The weapon. We hit it at the source." Zero's fingers danced across his cobbled-together terminal. "Megacorp HQ. A fortress in the sky." "Then we bring it crashing down," Evans declared. The plan took shape over the next grueling hours. It was audacious, perhaps suicidal, but desperation bred innovation. Evans found himself reaching out to an unlikely ally, Uko, the Cardassian hacker whose motivations remained shrouded in mystery. "You need me," Uko's holographic form flickered with smug certainty. "Without those access codes, you're dead before you even breach the outer defenses." Evans' lips pursed. "If you betray us—" "Save your threats, human," Uko cut him off. "My people have sins to atone for. This is how I start." The pieces fell into place. Experimental stealth tech, salvaged from a downed Black Ops ship, an orbital drop to bypass ground defenses, and an unexpected windfall. Dr. Zora, a Cardassian scientist who'd fled the Megacorp with a trove of insider knowledge. "The weapon! It's an abomination!" Zora's eyes blazed with righteous fury. "I can guide you through their systems, but we must act swiftly." The night before the assault, Evans found Reeves on the roof, staring at the distant glow of the Megacorp's imposing spire. "You really think we can pull this off?" Reeves asked, his usual bravado stripped away. Evans clasped his oldest friend's shoulder. "We have to, for Ghost, for Earth." The drop was a controlled freefall through fire and chaos. Alarms blared as the killers breached the tower's upper levels, their armor still smoking from atmospheric entry. "Split up!" Evans barked. "Zora, take your team and raise hell. We're going for the control center." The corridors became a labyrinth of death. Not just Cardassian security, but something far deadlier. Cyborg mercenaries, more machine than alien. Evans watched in horror as one of them shrugged off a point-blank plasma burst, its augmented flesh knitting back together before his eyes. "Zero!" he shouted over the din of battle. "We need an edge!" The hacker's fingers blurred across his wrist-mounted interface. "Working on it, boss. These systems, they're like nothing I've seen before." They fought their way deeper, leaving a trail of broken bodies and slagged circuitry. Reeves took a glancing hit from some kind of sonic weapon, blood trickling from his ears as he staggered. "I'm good," he wheezed, waving off Evans' concern. "Just getting my second wind." The control center loomed ahead, a cathedral of alien technology. But as the doors hissed open, Evans felt his blood run cold. Uko stood waiting, a cruel smile playing across her features. "I'm almost disappointed, Evans. I expected more of a challenge." "You lying snake," Evans snarled, raising his weapon. Uko's laughter was bitter. "Oh, spare me the human outrage. Did you really think your pathetic resistance stood a chance without inside help? We've been guiding your every move." The revelation hit like a physical blow. Human collaborators, traitors within their own government. "Why?" Evans demanded, circling warily. "How could you betray your own kind?" "Evolution, darling," Uko purred. "The strong survive. Your people are relics, destined for extinction. We're merely accelerating the process." With a primal roar, Evans launched himself at the Cardassian. They clashed in a flurry of blows, years of pent-up hatred fueling every strike. Uko was faster, stronger, but Evans fought with the raw desperation of a cornered animal. A distant explosion rocked the tower. Zora's team, sowing chaos in the bowels of the megacorp. Evans allowed himself a grim smile. Even as his body screamed in protest, he pushed harder, driving Uko back. "Zero!" he shouted between ragged breaths. "The weapon!" The hacker's hands flew across the alien console, sweat beading on his brow. "Almost? Got it." With a final brutal assault, Evans sent Uko sprawling. He staggered to the main control panel, every muscle screaming in protest. "Do it," he rasped. Zero's eyes widened. "Sir, if we redirect the targeting systems, the feedback loop, it'll take out the whole tower." Evans met his gaze, unflinching. "Then we go down with the ship." His hands slammed down on the activation sequence. The world dissolved into fire and thunder. The world dissolved into fire and chaos, but Evans' world went dark. He awoke to the acrid smell of burnt circuitry and the steady beep of medical equipment. Reeves's face swam into focus, battered but alive. "We made it," Reeves said, his voice gruff. "Barely. The tower's gone, but so's half our team." Evans struggled to sit up, wincing at the pain lancing through his body. "Uko?" Reeves shook his head. "No sign. Probably vaporized in the blast." As the fog cleared from Evans' mind, the weight of their situation crashed down upon him. They dealt a blow to the megacorp, but at a devastating cost. And now... "Sir?" Zero's voice crackled over the comm. "You need to see this." On a battered holodisplay, footage played of Earth's interim government praising the heroic actions of the resistance. Evans' eyes narrowed. "It doesn't add up," he muttered. Zora, the Cardassian defector, stepped into view. "Because it's a lie," she said, her voice tight with anger. "My contacts confirm. There are human collaborators within your own government." The revelation hit like a physical blow. Evans clenched his fists, mind racing. "We need proof. Zero, how fast can you get into their systems?" The hacker's fingers were already flying across his interface. "Give me an hour." Evans turned to Reeves. "Assemble a team. We're going hunting." What followed was a frantic scramble for intelligence. Zero and Reeves vanished into the digital ether, while Evans dispatched the remaining killers on a high-risk extraction. Hours later, they converged on an abandoned warehouse. The scientists they sought lay crumpled on the floor, life ebbing away. "Black Watch," he gasped, blood bubbling at his lips. "They knew we were coming." Evans knelt beside the dying man. Who are they working for? The scientist's eyes went glassy. Data. Hidden. Find the dead man's switch. His final breath rattled in his chest, leaving Evans with more questions than answers. A burst of plasma fire erupted from outside. Evans spun, weapon raised, as Reeves stumbled through the door, clutching a bleeding wound. Ambush, Reeves growled. These Blackwatch bastards are good. Evans' comm crackled to life. Sir, we've got a situation. Zero's voice was tense. I've found something. Something big, but we need more. Then we take it, Evans snarled. Reeves, how do you feel about a little payback? Reeves's grin was feral. Thought you'd never ask. They moved like ghosts through the neon-lit underbelly of the alien metropolis. Their target, a lone Blackwatch operative, separated from his team. The fight was brutal but brief. Subdued and at their mercy, the mercenaries' bravado crumbled. The station, he babbled. Everything's on the orbital station. Evans' eyes gleamed with deadly purpose. Then that's where we're going. As they prepared for the final assault, a familiar face emerged from the shadows. Uko, battered but alive, held up her hands in surrender. I can get you in, she said, her voice raw. Let me make this right. Evans leveled his weapon at her head. Give me one reason. Uko's eyes were haunted. Because the truth is worse than you can imagine. With time running out and options dwindling, Evans made his choice. You betray us again, and I'll space you myself. The assault on the station was chaos incarnate. Killer and rebel forces clashed with security drones and Blackwatch elites. Evans fought his way through corridors slick with blood, Uko at his side. They reached the command center, victory within grasp. A hidden assailant lunged for Evans, blade glinting. Uko threw herself into its path, the knife sinking deep into her chest. The console, she gasped, blood staining her lips. Finish it. Evans hesitated for a fraction of a second, then sprinted for the controls. Alarms blared as the data dump began, secrets spilling into the open. Standing amidst the carnage, Evans watched as the full scope of the conspiracy unfolded on screens across Earth and beyond. The war, the suffering, all of it engineered by the greedy and corrupt on both sides. As loyal Earth forces swept in to detain the exposed traitors, Evans knew the real battle was just beginning. He turned to his battered team, willpower etched on his face. We've won the day, he said grimly. Now we need to win the peace. Evans stared at the screens, the weight of their victory crushing him. The exposed conspiracy sprawled before him in damning detail, a cancerous web of corruption infecting both human and Cardassian societies. His fist clenched as he absorbed the magnitude of the betrayal. We did it, Reeves muttered, his voice hollow. So why doesn't it feel like winning? The days that followed blurred into a chaotic tapestry. Earth erupted in waves of civil unrest, the populace rising up against their discredited leaders. Evans watched from orbit as cities burned, the very institutions he'd sworn to protect crumbling under the weight of their own lies. In their makeshift base, tension simmered. Reeves paced like a caged animal, his cybernetic enhancements whirring with barely suppressed fury. We were played, he snarled, pounding his fist into a bulkhead. All those lives lost, and for what? To prop up some twisted war economy? Evans had no answer. The bitter taste of disillusionment coated his tongue. Zora's arrival brought cold clarity. The Cardassian scientist's eyes were haunted as she laid out the true scope of the conspiracy. The megacorp weapon was just the tip of the iceberg, she explained, her fingers dancing across a holodisplay. Multiple civilizations, manipulated into endless conflict. A galaxy-wide machine fueled by blood and suffering. The revelation hit like a plasma, round to the chest. Evans felt his world tilt on its axis. Reeves's decision came as both a shock and an inevitability. I'm done, he declared, ripping the killer insignia from his armor. This whole system is rotten. If we want real change, we need to start from the ground up. Evans watched his oldest friend walk away, torn between duty and a growing seed of doubt. Zero hovered nearby, uncertainty etched on his face. "What do we do now, boss?" the hacker asked. Evans stared at his own reflection in a darkened view screen, barely recognizing the man looking back. "I don't know," he admitted. "I don't know anymore." Days stretched into weeks. Reports flooded in of Reeves rallying the masses, channeling the chaos into a focused movement for reform. Evans found himself drawn to the cause, his certainty in the old ways crumbling with each passing hour. The final straw came in the form of an encrypted message from Uko's rebel cell. Evans' breath caught as he decrypted the data, revealing the Cardassians' final, defiant act. She had sacrificed everything to give them a chance at breaking the cycle. In that moment, Evans knew his path forward. He gathered what remained of his team, his voice steady as he laid out their new mission. "We've been fighting the wrong war," he said, meeting each of their gazes. "It's time we became something more than soldiers." One by one, they shed their combat gear, deactivating the enhancements that had defined them for so long. Only Zero hesitated, his fingers twitching towards his interface. "You don't have to do this," Evans told him gently. Zero squared his shoulders. "No," he said, "but I want to." As the last pieces of their old lives burned away, Evans felt a weight lift from his chest. The road ahead was uncertain, fraught with new challenges, but for the first time in years, he felt a glimmer of true hope. They stepped out into a galaxy in turmoil, no longer killers, but something far more powerful, a symbol of what could be. The real work was just beginning.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.